Hello and welcome back to Aussie Frugal Family. My name is Rachel and today we are going to do a meal prep video. I am sorry in advance. There may be lots of motorbike noise in this voiceover. I used to do all my voiceovers at night when I was putting the baby to sleep, but we sort of all go to bed at the same time now. He's sleeping a lot later, so I just don't have the opportunity to do it. So I have to do it whenever I can, and that means on a weekend when the kids aren't here and there's lots of motorbikes. But anyway, we are going to do a meal prep today. As you might know, we are on a budget of $150 a week at the moment to feed a family of 2 adults, 1 toddler and 1 baby. And yeah, I'm just going to walk you through the meal prep that I did. I haven't done a great deal of meal prep the last couple of weeks. This one was a little bit more decent. So the first thing that I'm doing is making some baby snacks, and I was actually doing this the night before I usually do my meal prep because I knew I was not going to have a whole lot of time. So all I'm doing is I have some grass-fed beef mince and I'm mixing in some like herbs and spices and stuff, and also some just microwaved spinach in there as well. It's just frozen spinach, those blobs that you get, because iron is very important for little babies. Not that he really eats much, to be perfectly honest. He's still very much a booby boy, but we try. So yeah, I'm really just mushing all of that together and then popping it into the air fryer for, I don't know, 20 minutes, 15 minutes. I'm not the best person to get like recipes and stuff off because I pretty much wing everything. Ooh, my brownies are ready. I pretty much wing everything, and yeah, don't know how long or what temperature I put stuff in, but you'll work it out. So yeah, these were just a very easy little finger food to make, and I was sort of hoping the toddler would eat them as well, because yeah, she could always do with some more iron, I'm sure. So while those are in the air fryer, I also cut up some chicken. And if you are not using kitchen scissors to cut up chicken, what are you doing? It's so much easier, especially when you're doing little strips and like it doesn't really matter what they look like or how uniform they are. It's just, yeah, really handy. So I cut up some strips. This is also sort of like a baby-led weaning thing. Just some little strips of chicken with some herbs and spices on top, just for the baby. And the reason that these are all finger shape and size is because it's easier for them to grab. So that's why the little meatballs were that shape, and that's why the chicken strips are good as well, because then the babies can just grab onto them and just chuck them in their mouths. I am also roasting some sweet potatoes as well because I have a bunch of those at the moment. So I just chuck them in the oven, nothing on them, for however long it takes to cook them. Obviously it depends on the size of the sweet potato. I was just gonna put some of them in and then I decided to do all of them. This is the sort of thing that you can bake in the oven, take out of the oven, use some, and then freeze the rest, which is really handy. And I will be giving those to the baby as well without their skins on. The next thing I did the night before my meal prep day was just to sort of get a bit organised by chopping up a bunch of veggies that I wanted to turn into juice. Really, my whole thing in the kitchen now is just do whatever I can, whenever I can. I never know when I am going to get an opportunity to do food prep and meal prep and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, if I have a moment, I'm going into the kitchen and like chopping some veggies for dinner or for whenever. So yeah, I just wanted to make we didn't have a lot of like fruit left over this week. So I just wanted to use the celery and the carrot just to make a celery and carrot juice, mostly just for me. I also used this opportunity, I think the kids are watching a movie or something, so I also used this opportunity to chop up my veggies that I wanted to put in my pasta this week. I make some sort of like spaghetti bolognese type thing pretty much every week or some sort of pasta dish anyway, mostly for the kids. It's just a really easy thing to have on hand at home for kids' lunches. My daughter goes to daycare twice a week, so I feed her lunch Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and she will eat pasta pretty much all of those days. Unless we sometimes when we go to swimming, we get like a taco on the way or something because we don't have a lot of time on Fridays. But yeah, the other days she's pretty much eating pasta. So it's nice to add some hidden veggies into that pasta. And I just use whatever we have left over. So this week I had a bunch of zucchini and also some capsicum, so that is what I used. So this is what the little meatballs looked like when they came out of the air fryer. And with those chicken strips that I just cut up, I'm just going to chuck some, I think this was the everything seasoning from Mingle, just some sort of seasoning to make it a bit exciting and so they can play with flavours and things like that. And I'm going to whack those in the air fryer as well. Don't ask me for how long. This is now the Sunday morning when I do the bulk of my meal prep. Usually the husband will take the kids out somewhere, often to his parents' house. And yeah, it's a nice thing that we've just started and it gives me a bit of time to just get prepared for the week, which is good. So the first thing I'm going to do is whack on a loaf of bread in the bread maker. And the first loaf I'm going to put on is an Italian loaf. That's what it's called in my bread maker recipe book, but to me it's just a regular loaf of bread. A lot of the regular loaves of bread recipes in the bread maker cookbook, I feel like they're more of an American style bread. They have like sugar and milk powder and all sorts of things in them, whereas this is just flour, olive oil, salt and water. And yeah, it just tastes really good and it's just regular bread to me. So yes, I will make one of those loaves for the husband because he likes that bread, whereas I prefer the sourdough and I prefer my kids to be eating the sourdough as well. It's not a proper sourdough because there's no long ferment. It only takes like 5.5 hours in the bread maker, but it's still good. I feel like it's still a bit more nutritious or something than the regular bread. Now I'm going to do my juice with those veggies that I had chopped up the night before, which is really handy. And this is the juicer that I got at the op shop for like $30 and I love it. Such a good juicer. I don't always make a juice. It's just sort of when we have like stuff left over or if we have celery, I like to make juice because that's how I like to ingest my celery is in juice. I don't really love eating it. Yeah, so the kids will not eat this juice, or the baby obviously won't. We're not feeding him juice, but the toddler will not drink this juice because it's just a vegetable juice, but it's just for me, and it's nice for me to have a little nutritious drink in the fridge for the week. So while I was doing all that stuff, I was also roasting up the veggies that I chopped up the night before, and what I am going to do now, these have been roasting in the oven for I don't know, I sort of roast them for 20 minutes at a time, then toss them, then roast them again, just until they're nice and soft. Now I'm going to add some sort of tomato stuff. So I had half a jar of cider left over in the fridge, so I used that. Wasn't quite enough, so I added in some diced tomatoes as well, just from a can. Added some herbs and spices, sort of mushed everything up, and then I put that back in the oven so that the tomato liquid can cook and everything can sort of combine together. While that is on, I am going to make another batch of mulberry muffins. These were such a hit with everyone last week. They're so yummy, and we are very lucky to have a mulberry tree in our backyard. Well, lucky, I planted it there, so don't know if it's luck, but yes, we have a mulberry tree in the yard. And this is the first year that it's produced a lot of mulberries. So yeah, we've been eating heaps of them in smoothies and in these muffins, and they're really good. I was getting annoyed with removing the stems. Someone actually emailed me, which I thought was really funny, saying that they used to use nail clippers. And I was like, that's genius. But all mine are a bit gross and I didn't want to buy anymore, so I just used scissors. But yeah, it was really handy. I liked it. So thank you for that message to that person. I also read something that you can put the berries in with the dry ingredients rather than at the end, and that just helps to keep them together a little bit more. So yeah, I did that, and I just used the same recipe as last week, which I don't remember. It's just some flour, some coconut oil. It's just Google blueberry muffin recipe if you want a muffin recipe. Just find one that works for you. So yeah, made those muffins. And I definitely do feel like the mulberries held together really well after I had mixed them in with the dry ingredients rather than at the end. So yeah, that's something to think about. If you make a lot of berry muffins, mix your berries in with the dry ingredients, and it does seem to help them hold together a little bit more. Or I don't know if I was just imagining things, but I swear they held together a little bit more. So this is just me spooning the muffin mixture in, and I'm only including this footage because look at the beautiful colour of that muffin batter. Yum, so delicious. I also decided to sprinkle on some sugar on top of these this time, and that was really good. They came out with sort of like a crispy, crunchy top layer, which was nice. I just used raw sugar because that's all I ever use. I'm not one of those people with a heap of sugars, but yeah, I'm sure any sugar would work. By the time they were ready to go in, the pasta sauce was ready to come out, and this is what it looked like. Sometimes I will cook it for a lot longer than this, but I just didn't have time and couldn't be bothered today. And this on its own would just be lovely on pasta, but because I have children, a toddler who will not eat vegetables really, I blitz it up. So yeah, I just use my handy dandy stand mixer. It probably would be easier to use a blender, but I don't want to create more washing up for myself, especially on a meal prep day where I have a heap of dishes to do at the end. We don't want to do that. So all I'm going to do now is add the sauce in with some mince that I cooked up. This is just the other half packet of mince from the little baby meatballs that I made. And yeah, I'm just going to mix that in. I ended up putting all of the sauce in just because I had a sort of weird amount left over. So it was a very saucy sort of pasta without like heaps of meat on it, but whatever, we don't care. That's what I need to get into the children anyway. The toddler eats so much meat, it's totally fine. She just needs more veggies in her diet. After that was done, I also just boiled some eggs because my kids love boiled eggs, especially the baby. If you have a good way to boil eggs, please tell me because mine always get stuck. Oh, and these are the muffins after I got them out. Yum, so good. Now, I know we already made a little sweet treat for the week, but I knew that they would not last very long, and I was right. I'm pretty sure they lasted until that afternoon. My husband ate like 6 of them, and I ate a fair few too. So I also wanted to make another sweet treat, and I had some beetroots, so I just made up some, well, I'm going to call them beetroot brownies, but they were more like mud cake things, and I put them in the muffin tray, so they're like mud cake muffins. I don't know what they were. I feel like you guys have seen me bake beetroot brownies so many times, but I've just been getting lots of beetroots in the Farmer's Pick produce boxes that we get, and I don't know, this is a good way to use them and to get them into my kids. So yeah, this is the Italian loaf, by the way. Look how beautiful that is. Absolutely lovely. Yeah, I can tell why my husband loves it. It's really soft, nice bread. But now that that's out and my beetroots are cooking, I'm also just going to chuck on my sourdough loaf. So you may know my sourdough died. It got moldy, so I had to steal a starter from a lovely mountain neighbour. That's the good thing about living here. There's always someone who has, sourdough starter or kombucha or any sort of things that you need to ferment stuff. It's great. But yeah, so I just popped in all the ingredients for my sourdough, and like I said, that takes, it's like 5.5, 6 hours in the bread maker. So you're probably not going to see the end result here, but it is something that I prepped. Okay, so once my beetroots were nice and cooked, I just make sure they're fairly soft. They don't need to be like ridiculously soft because they're going in the food processor anyway, but just soft enough to blend up. Then I'm just going to grab out the food processor and add the rest of my ingredients. I was going to use the actual food processor, that's what I would usually use, but I think it was dirty. Oh yeah, it was dirty from breakfast because we'd had a roasty. So instead I used the blender and it did not work as well. I don't recommend doing this. It was very annoying. Everything got stuck. I had to push it down all the time. If you want my brownie recipe, I don't have one yet again, but my general rule of thumb is a couple of beetroots, or if I'm doing black bean ones, like, I don't know, a cup and a bit or something of black beans, or sweet potatoes, or whatever you're making. And then I add in 100 grams of butter, 100 grams of sugar, about 40 grams of cocoa powder, and then like 60-ish grams of flour. It'll just depend on what other ingredient I'm using. So I pretty much always add something weird to my brownies. I don't know why. I guess just because I can. And it's good to get that sort of stuff into the toddler. So yeah, that's my general rule of thumb for brownies. And then I just, and baking powder. I didn't have any baking powder in this video and they turned out really dense. Baking powder is good in brownies. It just helps them to rise a bit. And after I put the brownies on, everyone got home, so I didn't have a whole lot of time to show you what else I did, but it wasn't much. I just made my husband a couple of pesto pastas for his lunches as well. And yeah, this was it. This was everything I meal prep. You can see there were only 2 mulberry muffins left by the time I filmed this. So yeah, that was all the footage that I got. But yeah, it was a pretty busy one. Hopefully next week I won't have to do as much meal prep. We will see. But thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Yeah, makes a lot of a difference, you guys watching these videos. So yeah, very appreciated. Let me know what you're meal prepping and what I could be meal prepping. I'm sort of getting sick of eating the same things all the time, like the brownies and stuff. Let me know what other little snacks I can make that my toddler would eat. Would be nice. Okay, well thank you so much for watching. I will talk to you in the next video. Goodbye.